Right, hello everyone, this is ProductShard, and today we're here with a restart of a series where I get guns to max level. Not gold, because I don't particularly like the way you have to get them gold, but especially because I play S&D, I'm going to get the guns to max level, and then give you a quick rundown of how I think best to play with them, and some class guides and stuff to help you play with them when you do. And this will hopefully be either every Friday or every 2 Fridays. Depending on whether I switch it in and out with Flashback Friday or not. But for next episode, you can suggest down in the comments whichever gun you want. If the gun's already there, then thumb it up to give it an extra vote rather than just typing it in again. But as you can see, this week we have the Type 25. Now, as you can see, and as I said, I've got this gun to max level, max prestige. That's 2 prestige, gun prestiges, and then all the way to max level, which gets you this nice title here and means you've unlocked all attachments and also the emblem on the side of the gun. Now, the Type 25 itself is the second assault rifle you unlock, and has really high rate of fire compared to others in the class, and the recoil compared to the number of shots that it fires per second is actually relatively low and is really easy to control. Now, in the most recent patch in March, the Type 25 got a buff, I guess it might be called a buff, because it got increased movement speed, not for your person I don't think, but just generally the sensitivity, which may not seem like much, but for me it's actually made it a much more usable gun, because looking from left to right on the sensitivity you're used to, it's going to be more like an SMG, so it's going to be much faster, and it just feels right with that higher rate of fire, and allows you to use it a lot quicker, and you don't have to be kind of sitting back like you may want to do with something like a M27 with the slower fire rate, but really accurate. You always want to be staying back for that. But for this you can use it much more as kind of a hybrid SMG assault rifle, which actually makes it really nice to use. Now, the class that I would recommend for this gun for high kind of activity game types like Domination that I'm playing here, Demolition, Ground War if you play it, stuff like that, anything bar Search and Destroy and maybe Free for All, would be to put the, first of all for attachments, I would recommend Primary Gunfighter. If you don't like the iron sights, if you do like the iron sights, it's not quite as important. But for me, I do like putting the reflex sight on, and the other 2 attachments I find quite important. So other than the reflex, which is my preferred sight on this gun, I would definitely recommend having the stock on there because of the increased movement speed, or whatever type of speed it is that was increased. The stock allows you to obviously strafe much faster and spend more of your time aiming down sight rather than aiming down sight and then running and then aiming down sight again. You can just hold it down and kind of walk around, which speeds up the momentum of your game and how you're playing, but also lets you be kind of defensive, and when you are behind cover, you can strafe left and right behind it, which obviously makes the top half of your body or your head, whichever one's sticking out, it makes you harder to hit, which increases kind of your life expectancy, and just allows you to get these higher kill streaks, which obviously people want to do. Now, because of the increased, the really high rate of fire, I would recommend always putting fast mags on these high activity game modes, because you're going to be firing, and every time you kind of shoot at somebody, you're likely to fire way over half the mag to kill one person, unless you're really either really accurate or you're burst firing all the time. So the fast mag just helps you reload quicker, and generally the reload time is actually quite long. So fast mag just makes it speed up, and again increases the speed of your game, and just allows you to move quicker and go from killing one person to the next, or killing a group of people, and being ready to then go around the next corner or go into the next place. And yeah, just allows you to be much more prepared and just speeds up your game. Now, I would recommend using the fast mags over the extended mag, because even though the extended mag gives you more bullets, and because of the high fire rate, that means you're like having to reload less. The 30 bullets does actually allow you to kill whoever you need to kill, basically every time, and the extended mag actually has a plus 10% reload speed, or reload time, so it actually takes longer to reload, which is pretty annoying, to be honest, especially with this gun, when the reload time is pretty long anyway. So with these sorts of game modes, I definitely recommend putting on the fast mag rather than the extended mag. Now for perks with this gun, and with this class, you're only going to be wanting to have one perk in each class, because the other points are going towards other things, especially primary gunfighter. But perk 1 doesn't particularly matter, it depends on your style of play. If you're an objective player, you definitely want to have the flak jacket in there. If you're going for kill streaks, and like I was in this game, I've got the hardline on. If you sprint at people, then obviously put lightweight on, but that doesn't really matter, that's to do with your style of play. Perk 2, I would definitely recommend toughness, especially if you're going for kill streaks. There aren't many other things that would kind of compete with that, except maybe scavenger, if you put a lot of equipment on, or if you're going for really high kill streaks and you just want to be using the Type 25, and you like really don't want to be picking up other people's weapons. But toughness for me is the most important here. And dexterity, this is something that people would maybe think with an assault rifle you don't really need to stop and hip fire very quickly, but because you've got the increased movement speed of the from the recent patch, you've got the stock on there, you've got the fast mags, you're going to be doing everything really quick and kind of on reactions a lot of the time, because everything's just going to feel really fast. So when you're moving into a building or into an objective or something, you're going to be reacting to stuff really quick, and having the delay when you don't have dexterity can be really frustrating and actually gets you killed quite a lot. So I would definitely recommend putting dexterity on there. I don't know many other things that would actually compete with this, especially with this gun. It's definitely perk 3, you should be using it. Also the hip fire is not too bad anyway, so if you do see someone really close, just hold down the trigger and hip fire them, and because of the sheer number of bullets that come out of it, they're gonna die pretty quick. Now with your remaining 2 points, I would definitely recommend having a lethal grenade, either Semtex or a frag or something, that if that's what you prefer. I personally use the C4, which allows me to protect like the B flag in this game without actually getting really close to it, because I didn't have flak jacket. If you don't, or if you have flak jacket, you're not going to need it as much, but I would definitely recommend having a lethal on there. Tactical, you don't want to be slowing yourself down with throwing something like that, especially when you don't have fast hands. So tacticals I wouldn't bother, and a secondary, because all the bullets fire so quick, then you may fire them and there's still one guy left in the room. I would definitely recommend having a secondary. I personally have the Executioner just because it's funny. But have a pistol on there that you can pull out really quick and just finish off the last guy. And then get yourself to a position where you can stop and reload both guns. And then continue onwards. So that is the class I would recommend for these sorts of game modes where people are respawning quickly and you want to be getting kills and defending objectives relatively fast. Now for S&D and game types with a slower pace, like maybe free-for-all and some team deathmatch games, the class is going to be slightly different. The first main thing is going to be putting the suppressor on there, especially for search and destroy. This allows you to be much more stealthy, much more tactical, and get behind enemies and kill them without them knowing you're there, and just allows for kind of, if you fire at someone and you hit a few shots but the recoil takes it up a bit, or they run behind cover, you're not going to be then out in the open with loads of people's sights turning on you, and you can get away and reload and take your time with it. It just allows you to play a lot slower. The stock is just, I love having the stock on there. It means that I can kill people without them being able to shoot me, because with an assault rifle, if you aim down sight without the stock, you basically stand still, and that makes you a very easy target for other people. Whereas if you put the stock on there, it just means you're moving a little bit more, you're harder to hit, and in search and destroy, where you don't respawn, that is very, very important if you don't want to rage. Now, the perks, lightweight for me is more important. It means you can rush their spawn, get to places where you will get the advantage over the other person that's rushing. Most of this is going to be for search and destroy because it's a big game type that I play, and it needs a much different kind of gameplay style. Cold-blooded for perk 2 means that, especially with the suppressor, you can get to places where even if someone notices or hears that you're in that area, they're more likely to walk past you, giving you the advantage because you're then behind them. You can hide out in places, and you can use it as a ninja diffusing class. Dexterity, again, I like it, but if you're playing search and destroy, you may want to put dead silence or awareness on there. That may come in more useful. The secondary, you want to have, well, I would recommend having pistols, but akimbo, because the Type 25 is quite a long range gun, like medium to long range. It can deal with short range a little bit, but you may want the laser sight if you want to do that. But instead, you can just put the secondary gun on there, and that means when you walk into a building or you're coming to a close range situation, you can switch out to them. And also it means if you're firing at someone and you run out of ammo, because you don't have the fast mags on, you can just pull out the pistols and spray them down, and you're more likely to get the kill. Then you will have 1 point left, which I would just put a tactical grenade on, because on search they're much more useful. You can use a trophy system if you want to have fun, or you can use like a shock charge or something. Maybe a black hat if you want to hack some people's equipment, but because you haven't got engineer, it may not be quite as useful. This has been the Type 25 for this week's max level, max prestige gun. Leave your suggestions for what you want me to do next week or the week after down in the comments, and I will do the one that is kind of voted up most. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, or this has helped you, or will help you in any way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.